always come back like a boomerang.
Damn, so I just can't hear the music. Nah, it's cool. I don't need to. No, don't blow your ears.
It's all good.
You're the genius.
Well, here we are. It's episode 25, Cutty Convos. We're here with Afterthought today. And, you know, the usual. We're having Aaron from Escape San Francisco and me from Real Status. What's happening? So we're here. We're going to talk a little bit about the album that's coming out for you, Afty Aft.
Yes.
How are you feeling about it? Your first album?
Yeah, I'm fucking terrified, honestly.
Really? I mean, you just drop so consistently, and I almost didn't even realize that you haven't dropped an album.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't. I guess it depends who you're comparing me to, but I feel like I don't actually, like, I've only dropped 3 songs this year, you know, or 4 songs now. I guess I just dropped Signs.
That's still almost a song a month, though. You know what I mean?
True.
Some people don't do
you're right.
any of that.
You're definitely right.
You dropped, you said 3 this year already?
Yeah.
But I feel like you're always doing things, though. I feel like every time there's things going on, you're at a show, you're like,
That's true.
You're out there,
Yeah.
you're working. You're not passive
definitely.
about your music. You're like out there doing things. And if, for me, from an outsider's perspective, like someone that's not like so like much into the music scene here, I feel like every time I go to somewhere, you're like connected in some way of like either you're performing or you're helping others. And so I see a lot of that from.
I appreciate that.
Which is pretty dope.
First of all, I've noticed you've been saying this because I'm an active listener of the podcast. Ooh. You got to stop saying that you're not a part of the music scene
because you are now.
At this point, you objectively are.
Yeah, that's not real. Yeah, like, think about all the people that you've helped.
It's only so long that you can say that before it's like, well, bro, like people
totally
know
you.
You're a part of the scene. You're on episode 25 of a Bay Area podcast.
I feel okay. You got a really good point on that one. But I feel like I don't have like if I have an opinion, it shouldn't be measured that strongly because I feel like I don't like I'm not a musician. I'm not a
musician either.
Like I feel like I don't have like
I feel like you just don't think you have as much stake in it as the rest of us do.
But you do.
I got a toe in.
Yeah, you got your toe in. But
no, I do love all the fucking people out here though.
That's
I love
all you need.
Shit fucking
end sentence right there.
There we
That's
go.
all you need.
True. And people know you out here and like love you too. What the fuck? When we were at the Stunning Show, people were like, what the fuck? You're the podcast guy.
But also like that's really all you need. Like full stop. If you say I just love everybody here and I'm trying to support, that's like, you know what I mean? Like
that's where it ends. Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta like, you know what I mean? Stop the hate of like, you know, oh no. It's like the scene's big.
There we go.
Nobody knows everybody.
Aft with the affirmations. There we go.
I just had to say that to you.
That's what's up. Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Because you are heavily a part of the scene.
That is hella true. I would agree. So wait though. So like, you're saying that like, After's like you're good at like marketing things. I would say that you're like a hell of a marketer, you know? This year you worked with like, Mario. I know you're working with him last year too, but like, I mean, you've continued that relationship. Like you're kind of always doing like something, even if it isn't like, directly music, it's like music adjacent. Does that make sense? So you're kind of still in people's minds a lot, even if you're not making music.
Definitely. I mean, that's the goal, is to always, you know, to walk the line of like you're always in people's minds, but you're not spamming people with music. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
Or you know, for me, because like you know, I know when Gable was on here, he was talking about like there's the 2 different kind of ways or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like I definitely. Like this is my first album. Like I don't have other albums at all, but I'm constantly doing stuff to remind people, and that's why like when I announced my first album, hella people were like, "That's not true." Like, people DM me and were like, that's a lie. Like, what do you mean your first album? Like your first studio album? I was like, no, look, go on my Spotify right now. I have no albums. Like,
I definitely had to check too. I was all like, what do you mean? Like I have so many songs.
This tripped me out too. I was like, when you were saying that earlier, I was like, I thought for sure you had albums. Like
that's what scares me though. EPs, is like now everybody is like, I feel like all those people are realizing, oh shit, he really doesn't have an album. So I'm about to like really judge the fuck out of it. You know what I mean? Because
wow,
like, I don't know. I just don't know what to expect because I've never dropped an album. Like and really like the last EP I dropped, Failing First 2, was 2 years ago, almost exactly to this date. And I was, you know what I mean? I've obviously grown immensely since then. So like I'm just in a completely different place. Like
that's crazy to think that was 2 years ago too.
Yeah.
What the fuck? That's the one I helped you out when we did the collab hoodies, right?
Yeah.
Wow, fuck.
Yeah,
that was 2 years ago? Jesus Christ.
I know. Yeah, in August will be 2 years ago. And that was when Family Not Group formed.
Yeah, wow. That's super. That's when, I just started working on Rebel U.
Oh, shit.
Whoa.
Can you talk a little bit how Family Not Group started?
Yeah. I could say my story because there's
So many different.
There's 17 different ways, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, basically it was kind of that, like, I feel like 3 months prior, like summer kind of was the first time I was seeing live shows happen again in the Bay Area. And there were hella shows going on. The 510 Fest happened, and I was on the lineup for some reason.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I love the town. And then I hit up Baghead and DJ Say, you know, to help plan, and De La City to help plan my album release party, which would double as Baghead's birthday party. And I did that, and it went hella well. It was like hella beautiful. It was at Top of the Hill at Sheesh Records. They don't have the space anymore, but Billy Lowe is still in there.
They don't have that space anymore?
Sheesh doesn't, no. But they like,
they're gone
folks have
over
the
there
space,
in Daly
but
City?
Sheesh, what?
Sheesh
One in Daly
exited.
City?
Yeah.
They're gone?
Yeah. Sheesh isn't there anymore.
Oh, okay.
But the 13 Gallons is there, and Billy Lowe still cuts there and everything.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it was cracking, honestly. And basically, like, that weekend I did like 10 shows, and I had this giant bottle of Hennessy, and I was walking around, and I said, I'll give you a shot at Hennessy if you if you download my album right now on whatever streaming service you used. I was just like,
the big Costco ones, right?
Yeah, the giant Costco one.
I remember, yeah.
And Mike walks up to me. At this point, like, I barely really knew Mike, you know what I mean? He walks up to me, he goes, you take the best group photos of all time. I want you to executive produce the soundtrack to my TV show. He, not knowing that I have this house with this studio in it at all, he just asked me that. And I go,
That's a smart
sure.
idea. Yeah.
Do you want to, let's start next week. And we invite like 10 people, and we're doing it. We start doing these soundtrack sessions, and then, and, you know, we had all been, you know, FNG people had been making music with each other for a while. But basically from those sessions, I just kind of like, I posted on Instagram, and I texted some folks. I think I texted you and Frosty for sure.
Yeah, you did.
And I was like, who wants to go to New York with me? And I don't know if you were going to go, but for sure Frosty and... I
don't think I had the money at the time. I was broker than I am now.
Frosty was like, oh, I'm going to go, and then he didn't go. But basically, like, the people who went became the original FNG. And Cinny, we were like there, and we were doing the show, and people kept asking, oh, y'all are all from San Francisco, y'all are all artists, you know. What's the name of your group? And Cindy kept being like, we're really more of a family than a group. And then Mike just blackout drunk made an Instagram page, and we had this group text.
Damn, no way. It was Mike that did it? That's funny as fuck.
Yep. And the group text was just like a New York group text, you know, to communicate travel. And, you know, there were Adiemi was in it. You know, obviously Adiemi is an affiliate, but... and then a few more people were added, and it became a Friendsgiving chat for whatever. And then things just kind of kept going, and suddenly we were just like rocking with each other. And to me, that's the origin story, is like Rent Check, soundtrack, New York, whatever.
It was a slow culmination, is what you're saying.
Sounded like it happened.
And then one day we were kind of just like,
you're like, oh fuck, we're here.
Well, yeah. And then we did our first chapel show on a Wednesday, and we did hella well.
Didn't you guys sell it out, or like you guys got really close to it?
Yeah.
I remember being there and being like in awe of like you guys being able to do this, because I was like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, I don't know. It just felt like one of those like attainable moments where I'm like, damn, like y'all really.
I've never been to the chapel. Shit. How many? Really? The chapel? Yeah, I've never been to a show there.
It's like 600.
Sick, goddamn! I thought it was like 3.
Because there's the upstairs and then the side thing.
Yeah, I've never been to the chapel. That's the one on Valencia, right?
Like it is something, and that's selling out the like bottom.
Got you. Yeah.
I don't know. You know
it was definitely packed as fuck for sure.
It was packed as fuck for sure.
It's crazy to think about because I've actually been to the chapel too, where I went to like a little Kayla show a long time ago for it, and she had like sold it out too. And it was probably like a little less packed than your guys' show. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, little Kayla? I don't know. Like, seeing little Kayla do that by herself is obviously amazing. But seeing like you guys put that all together when like we're all kind of like, I don't know, like I've seen you guys like come up, you know what I mean? It's like a lot more.
We came up together.
Yeah, it's a lot more like inspiring to see that, you know, like Lil Kayla, no disrespect, but 10 years in the game, like I'm like, I expect you to put up some good numbers. People love you, you know what I mean? Like that's what you deserve.
Like it sounds like it happened organically for you guys, which is
definitely
the best thing.
I mean that's like, you know, family in a group, obviously now we're like, it's locked in, we're tied in, but like that's why I'm like, you know, there's family in a group and then there's just the family. And there's a lot of us that just like came up together that are rocking. And really like the way I think about it is like it's really just who came to New York. You know what I'm saying? Who had the funds, who was really rocking, whatever. But there's like there's so many other movements, you know what I'm saying? And I love that. That's why I love Rebel Status being this group now. I love True Gang. They don't have a name, but there's the East Bay folks that, you know, the Isaiahs, Marika, Jada, SynQ.
Yeah, their whole camp. Yeah,
Rafi, you know what I mean? Like there's all these pockets, you know what I mean? And that's how we were able to do that chapel show and how everybody is able to do all this shit, the Rebel U showcase at El Rio. Like we all just show up for each other and then it's all actually good music.
It's fucking great. I remember everyone is always telling me like we're going to watch shows here. They're like, you got to see Afterthought. He brings a live band. You gotta see Afterthought. He has a live band. You got to check it out. So I finally checked you at El Rio, and you're going away when you're going to the UK or to Europe.
That was the first time you saw him?
That was the first time I saw you. And so when I saw it that day, I was just like, the backyard was packed. It was a beautiful day. Everyone was having a great time, and I was just like, this is fucking amazing. Like, what the fuck? Man. It was a really great time. And then you took off right after that. Yeah. How was your experience getting to go over there?
Man, it was great. I mean, I've lived in London before, but I've toured with other people. But that was my first time solo, like traveling and touring. It was crazy. Like, you know, I think I did 29 stops, I think, in 25 cities.
Fucking Christ.
And damn. Basically it was like I had a band, my resident band in London, and then I brought some of them from other places. But for most of it, it was like I was hitting musicians I had known or who knew me, and we were playing together at the show in whatever place. And then a lot of those places we didn't speak the same language. So like there's this video I have on my YouTube. It's me in this little tiny town called Linz, Austria. And it was me and a brass band, and they like didn't really speak that good English, and I don't speak any German. And we like rehearsed the same day I got in. We took the train from Vienna all together. We rehearsed, we did the show, and it was hella crazy to just like actually communicate with people only through music and like, you know, body language, because we didn't like speak the same language.
Because it showed like music is a universal language. You're
Definitely.
able to show powerful. Each other.
Like, you know what I mean? Because everybody says that in a kind of dog shit way. Like, true. You know, it's the universal language. But in those moments, I was like, this is like really crazy. Like, we're like some of the best shows in my life I've ever played with people who literally do not speak the same language.
How did you end up communicating of like showing them what to play? You just played something for them and tell them
to
walk
like
them?
I would go play it on the piano and they would play it on the trumpet, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know, like we'd be playing and you don't need to understand what I'm saying. If I'm rapping, I'm getting louder, you're going to get louder with me. You know what I mean? If I'm getting quieter, you're going to get quieter with me. Like you could just, you know, music is feeling.
Did you have to like ever at one point like turn around and tell them like, all right, stop at this point and like keep going? Or they just feel the rhythm?
Nah, because they, you know, they also came hella prepared. So they listened to my music. They knew the charts and stuff.
Oh,
like
nice.
That, so, yeah.
Was there any part of that tour where you were kind of like stressed out because of that though? Like where you were like, what the fuck? Like I'm in a place where no one knows what the fuck I'm saying. Like,
I mean, everyone speaks a little bit of English.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it's the universal language where it's like, they're like the countries are so small that, you know, they're like, the brass band actually said, they were like, well, we speak German and Italians speak, you know, Italian. And if we meet, we need to communicate. So we speak English.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know what
okay.
I mean? So it's like,
yeah.
Because every country, like they're all hella close. You know, it's like getting through the countries is easier than getting out of California.
For real though.
You know what I mean? So it's like everybody speaks a little bit of English for the most part. I found. You know what I mean?
And how were the crowds over there? Were they very receptive to you? How were your shows? Were they big? Were they smaller venues? How was it for you?
It was different. Each show was different. Like the show I just talked about, Lynn's, there were probably like 600 people there.
God damn.
But it's Lynn's is like, before we were rolling, like we're talking about Santa Rosa, it was like that. It's like, it's a small town, No artists, big or small, go to Lynn's, Austria, especially not non-Austrian artists. You know what I'm saying? So it was a huge deal that an American rapper would come. You know what I mean?
Nice.
And so it didn't
Made their
matter.
whole
Like
fucking month.
it's like it didn't matter that I was like whatever. It's like they because music out there, like in general, like the reason I was able to do the tour is like people are just like, oh, live music for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? Oh, American rap for sure. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it did. Like no one was like, oh, well, who is he? Who does he have a song with? They were like, an American rapper's coming and he's playing with our brass band. We're all gonna be there. You know what I mean?
That's what something Professor Gable said is like touring in places that don't see live music all the time. Like you're their entertainment for that Friday, Saturday.
Absolutely.
It's like you get some of the best shows you've ever.
Absolutely.
We were just talking about that with Santa Rosa because it's like that's such a small ass place, but then that's also why the legends fucking fuck with that shit.
Yeah.
Like San Quinn's coming out there all the time and fucking
Thanks.
Rapping Forte, all them. They still go out there too, and it's like, goddamn, like it's so funny to think about. Like a small town can really churn out so much like money and like just so much for you. You know what I mean?
I come from a small town. Shit. Like I told Professor Gable, I was like, that was it. Like that was like when you got to see someone, it was like they made so much of an impression. Especially being like a kid trying to go to one of those shows, like a teenager. Right. It was like, damn, it was like one of the best feelings ever getting to go to a show. And it was like those shows were affordable. You didn't have to pay to go, far away to go watch a show. It's like there. Usually most of the people are from the area that are coming out. Right. So it was like a good time. Yeah. What's one of the craziest venues or places that you performed in?
Damn, my answer is definitely not going to be as good as Gable's.
Not on the plane wing?
Yeah. Where I did craziest venue. Fuck.
Too many.
I don't know. I haven't really done that many like crazy venues. Like interesting. Like I've done a couple shows on boats, moving boats. I've done penthouses. I did a laboratory, actually. That was pretty crazy. Like
a laboratory?
Converted laboratory in Berkeley. I converted like
a
UC
science
Berkeley,
lab?
What the fuck?
Laboratory. It was like 3 levels, and you could like climb up these ladders and shit like that to get to it. That shit was pretty crazy.
Berkeley is so weird.
Yeah. That's some weird shit.
Where else? I did a medieval cave.
That one's pretty
Yeah,
sick.
that's definitely not as fucking crazy.
Isn't that the
as a
Land's
plane,
End cave
bro.
right here?
No. In Romania.
Oh,
Jesus
fuck.
Christ.
Yeah, I did a medieval cave in Romania.
Those goddamn Romanians.
Those goddamn Romanians.
Was it fun? Was like lit up in there and everything? Or
Yeah, it was insane. It was like a medieval dungeon cave with like medieval shit all around it.
That sounds so fucking
that sounds
weird.
that's like the craziest place. I don't know. That was like super eerie going in there.
Yeah, no, it was terrifying. It was like really. I was like, I might die.
Are we gonna get jumped in here?
Yeah,
No,
like literally, I was like, if there's like an avalanche, we're done.
for real.
You know what I mean? Like I walked all the way down, like through the cave and everything.
Damn,
That
that's
shit was crazy.
too many fucking.
Yeah, I think those are probably the craziest things I've done.
Well, hey, sorry, I'm gonna cut you off real quick, but you've probably worked with more artists than probably anyone in the Bay. Is there anyone that you haven't worked with yet that you like really want to work with?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Hella people.
Okay. Let's get some.
Like, are we talking about kind of
Let's talk in the Bay.
like looking across or like looking up or like there's tons of artists that
let's do a cross slash like maybe a little bit above, a little bit below, maybe someone that's like I would say in our community that's a part of the community, but you're just haven't worked with them yet.
There's a lot of like, just like how this is my first album, I feel like there's a lot of people that I haven't worked with that are just shocking. Like my first song with Adiemi was done like 3 weeks ago.
Really? What the fuck?
Yeah, I made some beats with him when I was younger, but Sutra has a song with Adiemi.
Okay.
And that's my first ever song with Adiemi. I've never worked with Quake Beats.
I cannot believe that. What the fuck?
I'd love to do that.
That's so
but
strange
that's honestly more common because, you know, obviously I'm an artist, but I'm a producer. Like, producers don't really work because, I hit him and we're both hella down. I love Quake. But Quake will be like, yeah, just come to my spot. I'm like, nah, come to my spot.
Yeah.
And we never do. You know what I'm saying? Same with Adiemi. Like, he's come over to my crib once. I've been to his crib once. But it's like, we like to be in your space, right? You know what I'm saying? For the most part.
I totally understand
so
how that goes.
I'd say Quake for sure. Who else? Astu.
Really? You keep saying names. I'm like, you haven't worked with this person
I
before?
Worked with Astu directly.
Okay, that's crazy. She goes crazy though. I would love to hear y'all on something. Y'all would actually make a perfect pair.
Absolutely. Damn. That's someone who like is directly on my like next album. Like, I'd love to have you on it.
Astu, come on now. If you listen, Astu.
If you're listening, Astu. I mean, she knows. Like, we've been talked about it.
Okay, that's clean.
I think. I'm trying to. I'm just like drawing a blank on Bay Area artists right now.
Who would you want to work with, like, nationally or?
I mean, Mike was just saying this when we were listening. You know, when me and Mike do drives, we listen to albums. I'd honestly love to do a song with Anderson .Paak.
Oh yeah, that's
I love his vibe. Sure.
I think that's like kind of my recently new dream collaboration. But really, like, obviously, you know, I could list off the people that everybody would love to do a song with. You know what I mean? Like, I'd love to do a song with Drake. I'd love to do a song with Kendrick Lamar. Because I really love collaborating. Like, I really would like to like pick their brains and see what we could do together. But honestly, like, I really listen to Bay Area music and the folks. Like, I really like you know what I'm saying? The reason I feel like I bang the FNG shit so hard and I bang like this Frisco shit so hard and just like the movement that we're all in together, that you're into, you know what I'm saying? Is like, because I really like, I love this shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's people who will like be like, yeah, he only ever listens to his friends' music. You know what I'm saying?
What's wrong with that?
But it's true. Like, it's because that shit is lit to me.
Good,
that shit is good, genuinely good to me. Like, I'm not like trying to like put people on. I just like, that's what I enjoy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I'm still on fucking the Frisco Days album. I'm kind of amazed at how phenomenal it is. You know what I mean?
For real.
I love Grando's new album. I love Isaiah's EP. I love Astu's EP. Like, I'm still on Jada. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, seeing Frosty's growth has been like fucking tumultuous to me. Like, I love listening to, like, you know, and like, it's cool when you like know people and see a different side of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, definitely. I was just telling who was it? Tolly, like, it was like the last time I seen him, because he was just amazed, because he was like, bro, you've put so many people onto my music. And I'm like, I don't do that because I'm trying to be your friend. I do that because I genuinely fuck with your music. Like, I'm listening to that music whether I like you or not, to be honest with you. I could hate you and I'd still listen to that song. Like, come on now. And I think people don't really get that sometimes, because they're like, oh, you're my friend, so you should just listen to my music. But it's like, I don't know, like, I'm gonna listen to that shit regardless of whether it is, because I just want to see you win. Like, that's a good ass song and I fucking like it. Like, it doesn't matter where it came from.
And the opposite, like, not to be a hater, but like, there's some friends I have, I love them as a friend to death.
Oh, but
I don't slap their music.
Yeah.
But it's also like, you know, and this is something I feel like I had to learn as an artist, because I don't really make Bay Area music, you know?
Definitely.
And that's why I went on tour in Europe. You know what I'm saying? My music was, you know, everybody loved my shit in Europe. Like, you know, all the fans that were coming out loved my shit. But it's like, you know, I had to learn, like, I have friends who like, this is an objectively good song, but they're not, like, why would they be slapping this slow tempo R&B ballad when all they listen to is Bay Area rap? Like, that's kind of weird. You know what I mean? They might be like, this is a good ass song. They might play it once or twice, but like, realistically, if they're not listening to like the music that inspired me to make that song, you know what I'm saying? Then why would they be listening to my song as a consumer? Because, you know what I mean? There's, you know, once you kind of get past that first, the first kind of graduation goggles of being an artist, like, it's a business and there's fans, and not all your friends are going to be your fans.
Yeah,
Damn,
and that's okay too, though.
hella
You know
real.
what I mean? Like, you kind of got to look at that like both sides of the coin. You know, like I know some people who I've known for years who like always tell me like my clothes are cool, but they've never copped anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's just like whatever. Like it is what it is. Like you can share the post or whatever and be like, that's good enough. Or you can even just tell me it was cool. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like I don't need you to buy everything,
Right.
but I just need to realize like we're friends. We're not like I'm not expecting you to give me money
Right.
for this shit.
Right.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So that's something that you definitely got to learn.
For you, you know, you're saying you don't have that Bay Area like sound.
Mm.
Who inspires your music? Who do you think your sound is like?
I mean, the Bay Area for sure inspires me. I slap hella Bay Area music. I'm from Frisco. I bleed Frisco, to the point where honestly people are like annoyed about how much I talk about San Francisco. I feel but
Fuck those people.
nah, but you know, I feel like just my life experiences and who I'm in the room with inspires my music. You know what I mean? Like I pull it out of myself and whoever else is around me. You know, and that's like what the album was. Is like,
It's like a moment you're saying?
yeah, like we would, you know, most of the sessions were like the song was made in one session. I invited some people, maybe they brought some more people. We cooked, we laughed, and then we started jamming, and then the songs came.
There we go. Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's not like, you know, because most of the music I do listen to is my friends. So like, and then you know, obviously like, I was a professional, whatever the fuck that means, songwriter, or like I was writing songs for a label for a long time. So like I was and still do it independently. So I'm like listening to new alternative R&B and pop, which were kind of my lanes. But yeah, in terms of inspiration, like I really just pull it, like, you know what I mean, on like what's going on in the world around me, you know.
Do you ever feel like do you ever look at like what you kind of have done in terms of like inspiration for the Bay? Because like there are people who like kind of look at you and they go like, damn, like I'm trying to be doing what he's doing, or like they're like, I see that he did this, so I gotta do this. You know what I mean? Do you ever feel like you see that or acknowledge it, or like what do you do about that? Because I know you definitely got it, but like, do you see it?
Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time taking praise, and I have a hard time like taking compliments, but I notice it, and I like, it's irresponsible not to like acknowledge it, in my opinion. Acknowledge when you have power.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, and like, you know, obviously, shout out to y'all. Like, I'm a fan of the podcast, and I also like, I hear my name brought up in lots of episodes, and I really appreciate that. Like, I hear, and I'm thankful for people who speak my name in rooms where I'm not present. But yeah, I definitely feel like it's irresponsible to not like acknowledge the power you hold, and I feel like Stunner Man really taught me that, in terms of like, you know, you just got to be conscious of like whose name you're speaking, who you're putting on, in terms of like guarding your energy and protecting the energy of your folks, and, you know, building up communities. You know what I mean? Because that shit is all, whether or not you want to acknowledge it, like that shit is all intentional.
Yeah, yeah.
And I got lucky that it happened naturally, but now that I'm standing on something I built, and I'm trying to continue to build and give others tools and materials, I have to, everything I do is intentional. Who I shout out is intentional. You know what I mean? Like, and sometimes, you know, I fumble still. Like, people like shout someone out, not, you know, trying to shout out everybody I'm rocking with, da-da-da, but it's like, I mean, I try and be hella intentional about like everything that I'm doing and how I'm doing it.
You can't have like a whole like 10-minute spiel about like who to thank, you know what I mean? You can thank like as many people as you can try, but like once you get into a tangent, it becomes a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But I agree, like I definitely see like, you know, like you throw out a lot of positivity, so you get a lot of positivity back, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think that's something that a lot of people don't think about, because they'll like talk about like, you know, in their music, they're like, oh, I'm gonna kill my baby mama and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, bro, like that's the energy you're gonna get back. Like, you know what I mean? Like your baby mama is now going to hate you more than she probably did before, or whatever, you know what I mean? Like whatever happens. But it's like, I feel like people don't think about like the energy that they're throwing out. They just think like, oh, if I have a lot of energy, then people are gonna fuck with it. And I'm like, it depends on what energy you're throwing out though, you know what I mean? So all that shit is very important.
All right, we're gonna come to a break.
Bing, bing.